Alrighty, back at it again with Sympho. Y'all ever made a perfect apple pie? Me neither, but my pie sure did look somewhat tasty by the end. I'm gonna take you through my apple pie making experience with 3 very unique looking pies. This was the syrup made from boiling cornstarch with the sugar lemon juice that I let the sliced apples sit in for 2 hours. I used it to smother the pies quite a bit. The oats, butter, flour, sugar concoction was shockingly warm after my brother had pounded it together. Why is it so warm? I already prepped this pie before recording, so it has the store-bought crust laid down and the apples layered in it already. I thought that the syrup wasn't enough for the top of this pie, so I decided to sprinkle on the smashed oat bits. I made sure to make it real consistent and fill up any empty gaps. This pie was basically a repeat of the first pie. I unrolled the pie crust that I got from Aldi, I made sure the edges of the crust lined up with the edges of the pan, and started building up the layers of apples. You honestly can't go wrong with layering apples. It always looks like it will taste good. Here's when I tried to get a little creative with the third pie, since I didn't have another store-bought crust to use. I decided to crush up these crackers that tasted like these mildly sweet and cheesy flavored seafood-shaped crackers that my family has gotten before from the Asian supermarket. There's like a Chinese and Korean version of the snack. This cracker has the same kind of flavor, but I thought that baking it would get rid of the taste. I had the genius idea of mixing the cracker crumbs with the apple syrup because I thought that it could form this kind of pie crust just like how normal crust is made with mixing butter and flour. I thought that the syrup would act as the kind of binding agent and that the crackers would be just like using graham crackers. Long story short, they maintained their cheesy flavor surprisingly well despite being baked and mixed with the apple syrup. The combo reminded me of slime squishing videos with all the pieces that people put inside the slime and the crunching noise. After realizing that the cracker combo wasn't spreadable, I decided to chuck it onto the pie that I had just layered the apples into and start anew. I was going to use the oat crumble for the crust instead of just as a topping. Luckily, it worked out for me. It happened to flatten out just well enough to pass as a crust. So I layered in the rest of the apples and plopped the rest of the apple goop on top. This came to be known as Grandma Snotty's pie. Then I removed all the baking tins and pans that get stored in the oven and preheated the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. These are the 3 pre-baked final products. I used a fork to make a little pattern on the crust edges of the cheese cracker pie. It was quite cute. I opened up the preheated oven, started putting in my pies, and realized that the bottom tray was too high up and close to the top tray for me to even fit Grandma Snotty's pie onto it. I was not going to try and move the bottom tray lower because I feared getting burnt. So I just squashed all 3 pies onto the top tray. Around 40 minutes later, after brushing my teeth and washing the dishes, the pies looked complete. The first one reminded me of cooked ground pork or beef, so I nicknamed it the minced meat pie. The cheesy pie looked just as sad after being baked, and Grandma Snotty's looked the absolute best in my opinion. This is a slice of the final pie since my fam had already eaten the rest. That was my pie making experience. Not too sweet, and the oat crumble wasn't bad either. Chew, chew, chew. Yummy, yummy, yummy.